Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of News for Normies. If you are turning in for the first time, I talk about the news from the past week and I tend to give my thoughts on it. So, if you enjoy this video, hit that like button, share it with some normies in your life, and let's get started. So, in recent news, Springfield, Ohio has seen the highlight of it because they have received a large number of Haitian immigrants, we'll call them. I actually went up to Springfield a couple weeks ago, talked with a friend there. You can find my video on the channel. Hi, Shane. But this week, I was at the gym early in the morning, and they had Spectrum News on. According to Spectrum News, at least $80,000 has been raised for the Haitian community in Springfield, Ohio, for various reasons, I suppose. They didn't exactly say what the reasoning was, they just mentioned the money. So, while I am glad that the American people are compassionate to others, why are we prioritizing foreign people over our own citizens first? I'm glad that we are helping people in need, I guess, but, we have our own homeless people on the streets and people with drug problems and people who are out of work and just all kinds of problems that American people are facing, but we're prioritizing Haitians over Americans first? Like, okay. Spectrum News also reported that a white nationalist group is planning some kind of protest in Springfield over the Haitian immigration into the city. So, I didn't think I would have to say this in 2024, but one, you white nationalists are stupid, because when people ask what do you mean by white people, white nationalists, you never give a straight answer. And two, your aggravation and frustration is pointed at the wrong target, okay? I am all for legal immigration into the United States, making sure that we bring in people that are going to be some sort of beneficial to American society and not a drain on resources. However, your aggravation should be pointed at the government in every form of possible, because every level of government is causing these kinds of problems. Okay? So protest peacefully protest, okay? We're not liberals, even though the KKK was started by Democrats and, was largely on the side of Democrats. But anyway, yeah, so stop protesting based on race and start protesting against your government, who is selling you out to foreign people every single time. So that's my 2 cents on that matter. A liberal journalist leaked a hacked dossier on J.D. Vance, which contained personal information such as his social security number, his home address, and more. This information was hacked by Iran because they hacked the Trump campaign stuff a while back. So, it's funny to me how the Democrat Party keeps trying to say that they're the peaceful and reasonable ones, yet they release personal info about the, let's just be honest, future vice president, with the intent of some sort of harm coming to him. I mean, I don't want any harm to come to any political people at all, but why else would you do this? The only reason that some kind of a nut job would leak his personal information is because they want to see physical harm come to the man and his family. Alright, this is a fun one. Anybody that is a fan of Steven Crowder or the show Louder with Crowder already knows this, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. The undercover team at Louder with Crowder released a video of Dr. J. Pharma admitting that he attended underground raves and secret sex parties while he kept New York City on lockdown during the COVID pandemic. Now, you might be asking, who is this Pharma guy? Well, he was the top health advisor for New York City in 2020 while COVID was a thing. And he very blatantly operated by rules for thee, but not for me. So, since the video was released, the New York City government has been a complete shit show. And since then, Pharma got a job with a company called SIGA Technologies, which, wouldn't you know it, is a large pharmaceutical company. Since then, he has been fired from his role, and they, released some kind of a statement about this dude. But the company, SIGA Technologies, also saw a dip in their stock price immediately afterwards. Now, I don't follow every single company that's on the stock exchange and stuff, so it could have bounced back up by this point. But they saw a hit because of this. So good on Loud Earth Crowder and their team for doing this, because more people like this need to be held accountable. Again, just my 2 cents. All right. So by now, everybody has to have heard that a dude tried to shoot Trump while he was golfing a couple weeks ago. But more stuff has come out about this guy. In the last video, I refused to use his name, but it's been all over the internet and stuff now, so I'm going to here. His name is Ryan Ruth, or Routh, either way, don't care. But Mr. Ruth had apparently dropped off a box of stuff to a friend before he tried to assassinate Trump, and in this box was a letter that Ruth wrote. Part of this letter stated, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you," end quote. The letter also stated that he wanted to offer $150,000 to anyone who could, quote, "finish the job," end quote. So, yeah, even in his own words, he said it was an assassination attempt. So any news outlet that says, alleged assassin attempt or presumptive attempt on Trump's life, no, it was for sure an assassination attempt, but he failed. So thank God he failed, but he still got real close to Trump. Now, where they got it wrong was they said that he had an AK-47 style rifle. No, it was an SKS. It does shoot the same round, and if you do some, hillbilly rigging, you can absolutely make an AK-47 magazine go into it, but you have to do a bunch of stuff to it to get it to work. So, my question is, Ruth was already a convicted felon and had numerous run-ins with the law before, so he shouldn't have even been able to get a gun. And like I stated in the last video, he was obsessed with Ukraine winning the war and was even over there trying to recruit people for the war effort and stuff. So this guy was clearly not mentally stable. But remember, Republicans are the ones who need to tone down the rhetoric. Yeah. Anyway, since then, Ruth has been charged with more severe crimes than initially reported after he was first detained. At first, it was like possession of a gun while being a felon or something like that, and they were not going to charge him with like attempted assassination and attempted murder and stuff. He's gotten those kinds of charges since then. And more information on the Ruth family. Ryan Ruth's son, Orrin Ruth, was arrested for possession of child pornography. This whole family is absolutely sick, and people need to stay away from them as much as possible. Like, public humiliation and shunning should be leveled at these people. And I'm sure that he's going to probably see some kind of jail time, but knowing how our criminal justice system works. He'll probably just get a little slap on the wrist and be let back out on the streets. But, people who have a tiny amount of marijuana will get 20 years. Okay. Moving on. This is one that should have everybody concerned. A report has now come out stating that among the illegal aliens in this country, all thanks to the Harris-Biden administration, there are roughly 15,000 murderers, 20,000 sexual predators, and 60,000 robbers in America that have come because of their failed border policies. So, if you are still on the fence of who you're going to vote for, it's pretty clear how both political parties think now. The Democrat Party as a whole wants the U.S. to collapse, and Donald Trump and the likes of Trump want prosperity for the nation. We absolutely should have a strong border, north and south, and we should absolutely be vetting people that come into the country. Your home or your apartment, wherever you live, has 4 walls, doors, and windows that provide shelter for you and your loved ones, and should somebody want to come into your place of living, you're absolutely going to make sure that that person that's coming in does not have ill intentions. You wouldn't just let some random person walk in your front door and camp out on your couch. Because you don't know if they're just going to sit there and watch TV, or if they're going to murder you and rape your wife. So, I don't understand why that same kind of logic doesn't apply to the country as a whole. Again, come here legally. Come here and add value to the country. And if you fall on hard times, we have programs to help. But those should be temporary, not permanent. And stuff like this cannot last, because even as, Tim Walz said, we can't afford 4 more years of this. Alrighty, moving on to war news now. The Pentagon says that dozens of American service members will be deployed to Israel. Israel also recently killed a Hezbollah leader in Beirut. Anybody that has studied history can kind of see some parallels here to former conflicts that America has engaged in, and this really smells of another Vietnam type situation. At first, with Vietnam, the U.S. deployed a small number of military advisors, and then they got roped into a bigger conflict from there. So, yeah, it's interesting times. More war news. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and Ukrainian dictator Volodymyr Zelensky were on video at a munitions factory proudly signing artillery shells at their factory in Scranton, Pennsylvania. This is absolutely sick. We should not be involved in that conflict. And it is clear now that the Democrat Party is the party of pro-war. I mean, how else can you define it other than that? When you have a Democrat governor, gleefully autographing an artillery shell that is going to go to a war to kill people. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that they don't value human life, because they're okay with abortion up to and including birth. Also, is this what Joe Biden has meant the whole time when he touts about being from Scranton, Pennsylvania? Because if so, that makes a whole lot more sense now if you think about it. Oh, man. Moving on. Alex Jones. Love him, hate him. He has a lot of feelings about him out there in the world. However, Alex Jones and his company InfoWars are being forced to liquidate the company due to legal repercussions. Now, while I disagree with some of the things he has said in the past, specifically his initial claims that Sandy Hook was a setup and the people there were crisis actors, he shouldn't be punished for speaking his mind, okay? He messed up with that one, and he has come out many times apologizing for it, and has even offered to like help the families who were victims of that. Okay, you can find plenty of videos of Alex Jones apologizing and trying to make amends for his claims there. However, there were never any direct calls to action by Alex Jones, meaning he never said, I want you to go there and cause a scene or anything like that. Then, if he did say something like that, then absolutely there should be legal repercussions. But he never did that. So the fact that he's having to basically sell his company shows that there is a deeper problem here. And that deeper problem is that if you are a big enough thorn in the side of people in government that want to have complete control, they are going to stomp you out. That's the fact here. Again, his comments on Sandy Hook, not good at all. But he has predicted a lot of things in the past, and he's also been wrong about a lot. He's human just like the rest of us. So if you're cheering for this, you really need to question yourself. Because, if somebody is trying to point out the flaws of government and you're okay with that, then you are, by definition, a fascist. Like, you want the silencing of political opposition. And that's all there is to that one. So we're going to end on some good news, and then I am going to don the tinfoil top hat because I got some questions and some conspiracy theories. But some good news here. Quinnipiac polls are now showing that Trump is winning across the country. I mean, I don't remember the exact number of states that he's kind of winning in, but I would say that save for California and New York, he's winning across the board because people clearly see that the grocery bill is too high, utility bills are too high, everything is more expensive. Hell, even in Ohio with the whole Haitian immigration crisis going on, car insurance has gone up for everybody, despite like myself, I haven't had a ticket in almost 10 years, but my auto policy is now $171 a month. Like, I don't even have full coverage on my car, but I got to pay that kind of money because other people are stupid. So yeah, Trump's winning, and I hope that this momentum keeps going. Also, Taylor Swift's endorsement of Kamala Harris actually hurt her in the polls. So it kind of seems like people are getting fed up with ultra-rich celebrities telling people like you and I how to think. And I, for one, am here for that kind of rebellion. So let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. Because that's kind of what I'm seeing here in my personal life. Alrighty. Time for the tinfoil top hat. Nope, I think I had it on backwards. There we go. Alrighty. So, as I mentioned before, the would-be assassin Ryan Ruth was already a convicted felon and had multiple crimes on his rap sheet. So, how was he able to get a gun, much less get a gun without a serial number on it? Like, there's already laws in place. You can't destroy the serial number on a gun. That's a felony. If you're a felon and you have possession of a gun, that's another felony. Like, we already have laws in place that are supposed to keep people from owning guns who shouldn't own guns, yet he was able to get one. And also, how did he get that close to Trump in the first place? Like, Trump's all over the place doing rallies and stuff like that, and, he's going to have time off. But the fact that Ruth was there at Trump's golf course the day he was playing golf and got within about 500 yards of him, or was it meters? I don't remember. It seems too coincidental that he just guessed when Trump was going to be there and it just happened to be the same day. You know what I mean? Also, my theory is that this dude had some kind of connection with the CIA because, after all, the CIA is known for overthrowing governments who don't bid to the United States' interests. See JFK in the 60s, Ukraine in 2014, Gaddafi back in, was it like 2010 or whatever. And this dude was obsessed with Ukraine winning the war against Russia, which will not happen. I mean, if we're just looking at sheer numbers, Russia outnumbers Ukraine by a lot. So, like, Russia could literally take over all of Ukraine right now, and it would just be the end of the story. Don't want that to happen, because there's innocent people that would be, largely affected by that, but also this war has affected a lot of people too. So, back on track. My theory, and I don't really have any proof of this, just theory out there, this Ryan Ruth guy was in connection with the CIA, and they were trying to take Trump out. I mean, they took out JFK in the 60s. There's no doubt about that. But, again, they picked a dude that was, borderline mentally retarded and didn't get the job done. And why would you use an SKS for that range? Like, this is not me advocating violence toward anybody, okay? This is just basic information on firearms. An SKS is not that accurate at that kind of range. I mean, the round it shoots is 7.62 by 39. Not that accurate at that kind of range. So if you were going to try to take out somebody at a longer distance like that, wouldn't you want something that is more accurate at longer ranges? None of it really makes sense. Also, why did law enforcement release Ruth's letter right after he was arrested? Because if we look back to the Nashville school shooters manifesto, it took them over a year to release that thing in full because they kept claiming it was for public safety reasons. And we know from the Louder with Crowder team that was able to get some of it leaked, that the Nashville Christian school shooter hated white people and Christians and wanted to kill them. So if you have information like that, wouldn't you want it to be known to like that kind of demographic so that way they could, I don't know, take measures into their own hands to keep themselves safe? Or, they claimed it was for public safety reasons to not encourage like copycat behavior. I don't know. But then if we're using the same logic, wouldn't we want to not share a letter from a guy that tried to kill the presidential nominee and future president again for the same reason? Like, you wouldn't want copycat behavior of this, but I mean, we all know that they do. The feds absolutely want Donald Trump dead. They do, because he's a threat to the military-industrial complex and a threat to their legitimacy. So, yeah. I hope that when Trump is reelected, he pulls a Javier Milei and just starts gutting these agencies because they are useless, and the only thing that they do at this point is propagate their own existence. I mean, they are a cancer on the American society as a whole, and when you have a tumor, you got to cut it out. So, okay, I have rambled on long enough. I'm going to wrap it up here today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you have your own theories on the whole Donald Trump assassination thing, or any other thoughts you have. I want to hear what everybody else is thinking. So, with that being said, I will see y'all next time. Take care. God bless.